What if I told you that increasing customer retention by just 5% can boost profits between 25 and 95%? Now, in the last year, I've worked with dozens of CPG brands, ranging from supplements to skincare to food, and so many of them were stuck at the $2 to $5 million revenue plateau, just pouring money into ads, but struggling to break through. The problem is that most CPG brands obsess over new customer acquisition while completely ignoring their greatest asset, their current customers. Now, we implement a retention system built around behavioral segmentation that helps to reduce CAC, increase LTV, and generate more profit for their brand. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the problems that most brands have with retention, aside from just utter neglect, and our 3-step loyalty loop system that helps to convert browsers into buyers and buyers into loyal brand customers. If you look at almost any pre-purchase experience for brands, it's almost always about the brand versus about the customers. It sounds super needy and they're just talking all about why they're so great and why you should buy from them, but it completely neglects the customers. And despite people being at different stages in their customer journey, like they've just visited the website, they've only checked out a product page, they haven't added to cart or initiated checkout, or they've added to cart or they've initiated checkout, almost every single abandonment flow, i.e. someone does a certain action and then just pieces out, look almost identical. 95% of the flows we see when we're doing these audits are something like, hey, did you forget this? Hey, your cart misses you. Hey, your cart is lonely. It just sounds super needy and it sounds like your flows have abandonment issues. That being said though, most brands also drop the ball post-purchase. Where most brands kind of go wrong here is they ghost right after the purchase. They send a generic purchase confirmation and then they ask, hey, how did we do like 7 days later? After that, they're just dumped into the regular newsletter list and blasted all the same content as people who have never purchased before. Now, if this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Here's why it sucks though. It treats every single customer the same, whether they're prospects or one-time buyers or VIPs, and it misses critical behavioral indicators during what we call the commitment window. This is the first 45 days where a customer is trying to decide, hey, is this the right brand for me, or are they just passing through? The customers who interact with your brand in specific ways during that first 45-day window are significantly more likely to actually become repeat purchasers and ultimately way more loyal customers. Now, aside from all that, the post-purchase experience almost always fails to capitalize on the peak emotional connection moment. That is right after the purchase is made, when dopamine is high and the customers are most receptive to deepening their relationship with your brand. And unfortunately, if it's not nailed the first time, as time goes on, emotional connection drops, excitement drops, and so does your open rates, click rates, and your purchase rates. So what we want to do is optimize the pre-purchase experience to convert more of those browsers into buyers and improve the post-purchase experience so that those buyers don't just buy once and then disappear like a fart in the wind. We do this through what we call the loyalty loop system, and it works off the back of 3 things. First, we build and optimize a zero-party data pop-up that converts 5 to 12% of your website visitors into email subscribers, and it also collects zero-party data. Now, if we're adding more people to the list, we're going to be generating more revenue from flows and ultimately more revenue from campaigns, assuming the campaigns you send don't suck. Now, setting up this pop-up is absolutely crucial, and if you want to know exactly how we test and optimize our pop-ups for 7- and 8-figure brands, go ahead and check out this video here. Now, at a very high level, if your opt-in rates suck, take a look at your offer, your time delays, and your mobile versus desktop performance and optimizations. But don't forget that zero-party data piece though. Now, the zero-party data that you're gonna wanna collect for your brand is gonna vary, but it's gonna come down to 1 of 2 things, either what a customer is shopping for or the desired result the customer is looking for. Now, if we're looking at shopping intent, what are they actually looking for? We wanna understand the specific products or solutions that a customer wants so that we can tailor recommendations specifically for them. So for example here, you might want to look at product category. You might want to ask people, are they shopping for themselves or are they buying a gift? Do they have a budget in mind? Do they have a timeline in mind? And for whom are they shopping for? Is it like men's, women's, or children, for example? Now, the second piece is the desired outcome. Now, this is really like, what result do they want? This is when we're trying to identify the goals and the desired outcomes that help us provide the right products to help them get to their desired outcome. So things you can ask here are like, what's your goal? What's your outcome? What do you actually want from this? What are the main pain points you're experiencing right now and that you're looking to solve with our product? What's your experience level? What are the priorities you have? And what are your value drivers? With this data, you can then create hyper-personalized experience that make customers feel understood, increase engagement, and ultimately increase your conversion rates. Here's an example from Pillow Slides using desired outcome and asking people what they're really looking for with the product. And here's an example with Cuts using shopping intent, asking whether they're shopping for men's, women's, or both. Now, this zero-party data collection also helps with step 2 in the loyalty loop system, because ultimately no one wants to feel like a number. People are expecting personalized experiences more and more in 2025. So the second step here is we actually build email sequences that nurture customers based off of where they're at in their customer journey. That means instead of all your flows looking like, hey, you forgot something, hey, your cart misses you, hey, your cart is lonely, here's a discount, we're actually handling people's objections here. So here's what that looks like. We look at 3 different points in the funnel. We look at acquisition, which is pre-purchase. We look at retention, which is right after the purchase. And then we look at referral, which is a little bit further along after the purchase. And then what we look at is the different sub-levels of the customer lifecycle stages. So for example, with the acquisition phase, we'll look at awareness, consideration, preference, and intent. Now, someone who has, for example, initiated checkout, they've showed their intent. They know what they want. They don't need another 15 different products to see. They have certain objections. However, if someone's in that consideration phase, and let's say they've just hit a product page, they may or may not actually want that product. They're considering their options. They might even be shopping around at other brands, but they're considering their options there, right? You want to hit people with different messaging based off of where they're at in their customer journey. So within the retention phase, we're looking at conversion and achievement. So the conversion is really like when the purchase happens and immediately after. Achievement is making sure that people actually achieve their desired result. Again, if you're collecting that zero-party data, you can help people achieve their desired result based off of the products they're buying and based off of the solutions that they're looking for. And finally here, we're looking at referral. So we're looking at loyalty and advocacy. The only way to get here is if the other 6 stages are actually done properly and people are actually having a great experience, and ultimately your product doesn't suck. If your product sucks, this is not going to work very well. So for example here, if you sell supplements, some of the common objections that we want to handle is, hey, what if it doesn't work for me? Is this legit? What about shipping time? What about shipping cost? What about product cost? Like, why is it maybe more expensive than other alternatives? Or why is it less expensive? Are there any other ways that we can limit risks? And then also you want to consider what are common FAQs that you get about the products, right? And if you literally just do this, this will help to dramatically reduce your CAC. But if you implement the third step in the loyalty loop system, you're going to see an even more dramatic improvement. Instead of just blasting everyone on your list with the same sales messages, we build and optimize segmented campaign calendars with content that people actually want to receive. And we do this through advanced segmentation and a deep understanding of your customer lifecycle stages. You're fighting for inbox real estate here. If people are receiving irrelevant or unengaging content and it's always just sell, 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 it's just not gonna work for very long. So using this supplement brand as an example again, some of the campaigns we leveraged for them were product spotlights, ingredient spotlights, product launches, referral campaigns, health-related value emails, review spotlights, success stories, problem meets solution. And again, we're tailoring these messages based off of where people are at in their customer journey. If, for example, someone just bought a product, there is zero reason to send them an email saying why the product is so great and why they should buy it, because they literally just bought it. One of 3 things is true. They bought it, they love it, they bought it, they hate it, or they bought it and they have not received it yet. In either one of those cases, you don't want to be sending them an email. Now, so many brands I audit have the exact same problem. They just think email is binary. Either they have it or they don't. But having the wrong email system or just zero email strategy can stifle your brand growth. Having the right system in place can help to reduce your CAC, increase your LTV, and reduce your reliance on paid ads. Now, for those of you who want to implement this system but just don't have the time or the technical expertise, and if you do have a 7 or 8 figure D2C brand looking for a little bit more hands-on help, we work with a limited number of brands each quarter. There should be a link in the description where you can apply for a free strategy session where we'll basically just run through your whole email infrastructure and we can help you identify some opportunities for you. So hopefully I'll chat with you soon, and thanks so much for watching. Cheers.